Hello, my dear students. Welcome all of you in the part 4 of our lecture series, in which we are going to discuss about tertiary and quaternary structures of protein. This topic is very important topic and covers the syllabus of various life science graduation, post graduation and entrance exam courses. So please watch full video and subscribe my channel eBiology and stuff for more video tutorials. Let's start. So first we will see tertiary structure. Tertiary structures are nothing but arrangement of single polypeptide chain secondary structures into final three-dimensional shape. That is nothing but arrangement of a single polypeptide chain into three-dimensional shape. And what is quaternary structure? Here we have more than one polypeptide chain, that is multiple polypeptide chain into final 3D shape. So both have 3D shape, but in tertiary structure we have single polypeptide chain, and in quaternary structure we have multiple polypeptide chains. In the diagram you can see clearly the primary structure and secondary structure I already explained in my previous videos, and you can get the link from the description box. So after secondary structure, a polypeptide chain is folded and giving you a 3D conformation here. You can see here the single polypeptide chain is having alpha helix structure also and beta pleated sheets also. That is the thing which I was telling in the definition, that a single polypeptide chain secondary structures into final 3D shape. Means a single polypeptide chain can have more than one type of secondary structures in a particular 3D arrangement. In example you can see it have alpha helix also and beta plated sheets also, and this polypeptide chain is folding in a manner to give you a 3D arrangement. And quaternary structure you have more than one type of polypeptide chain and the final arrangement is 3D only. Now we will see how many types of 3D structures of proteins are there. There are two types of 3D structures of protein. The first one is fibrous protein and the second one is globular protein. Fibrous proteins are nothing but polypeptide chains arranged in long strands and sheets. You can see here long strands and sheets. While in globular protein, these polypeptide chains are arranged in spherical or globular shape. Now, fibrous proteins consist of single type of secondary structure. Single type means either it will be having alpha helical or beta pleated sheets. Here you can see these proteins are having alpha helical secondary structure, but in globular protein we have several types of secondary structures. Means the single polypeptide chain may have more than one type of secondary structure. In the same chain it may have alpha helical and beta pleated both type of structures. Now what is the function of fibrous protein? It provides support, shape and external protection to vertebrates. We all know the fibrous proteins provide support, shape means the nails, wool, claws and other structural proteins are type of fibrous proteins. And globular proteins, most of the enzymes and regulatory proteins are of type globular protein. Next we will see examples of fibrous proteins, so it will be much clear to all of you. The first example is alpha keratin. From this diagram you will come to know how this alpha keratin is arranging itself to form a particular three-dimensional structure. Alpha keratins are responsible for most of the dry weight of mammals. Dry weight of mammals, which constitutes hair, wool, nails, claws, quills, horns, hooves, and much outer layer of skin. And from this diagram you can see the first one is alpha helix arrangement of the alpha keratin, which is right handed. Then next, two alpha chains come together and coiled around each other. Here you can see they are coiling around each other, and the speciality is both the chains have same terminal on their sides, like amino terminal comes with amino terminal and carboxylic terminal coming with carboxylic terminal, and this twisting is left handed. Okay, remember it, the alpha helix structure is right handed but the twisting is left handed. When these two alpha chains are coiling each other, it is left handed. Then next is these two twisted chains come together and form a tetramer, that is also known as protofilament. Okay, the two dimers comes together and form a tetramer, and now they are attaching to itself or attaching with each other with cross linking bonds. Next is tetramers combine to form protofibril. So two tetramers combines to form protofibril. First we have alpha chain which is coiling around each other to give you a dimer. Then two dimers combine to form a tetramer. Then tetramers combine to form protofibril. That means a single protofibril will be having 4 alpha chains. Next, these protofibrils combine to form a intermediate filament. Intermediate filament you all are knowing because I explained it in one of my video tutorial. Link I will give you in description box. So here these 4 protofibril will come together to form a intermediate filament, that is the 3D one. Okay, 4 protofibril means 32 strands of alpha helix. Why? Because single protofibril will be having 8 alpha helix. Now, so you will be having 32 strands of alpha helix. Most of the amino acids of alpha keratin are hydrophobic amino acids, and this is the reason why these structures which are made up of alpha keratins are water resistant. Okay, like our nails, claws, quills, horns, all are somewhat water resistant because all these keratins are rich in hydrophobic amino acids. And this type of proteins are also very tough proteins. Why? Because they are rich in cysteine amino acids. So they are having disulfide linkages. You know the rhinoceros horn, which is the toughest protein, which is known for toughest protein, and that horns consist of 18% residues of cysteine. 18% residue of cysteine means they are rich in disulfide linkages, so that this provides them a toughness. Okay, I already explained you how this cysteine is responsible for toughness, and I think I will give the link in description box. Okay, so got this alpha keratin having right handed alpha helix which forms a dimer which is left handed coiled, which forms a tetramer, that is protofilament. Tetramer comes together to form protofibril, and these protofibrils gives you a 3D structure, that is intermediate filament. Next example is collagen. We all know Collagen protein is present in connective tissues such as tendons, cartilages, organic matrix of bone, and cornea of eyes. This collagen also having basically alpha helical structure. Here you can see the alpha helical structure, which then combine to form a triple helix structure in which three chains are there: chain 1, chain 2 and chain 3, which super twisted around each other, and very tough structure it is, like it having tensile strength greater than a steel wire. Why? Because these alpha chains, chain 1, 2, 3, are wrapped around each other so tightly that it increases tensile strength up to a level, and it makes it more tensile than a steel wire. Okay, so collagen fibrils are supramolecular assemblies consisting of triple helical collagen molecules. The specialty of collagen protein is it is rich in some specific amino acids: glycine, hydroxyproline, proline and alanine. Glycine constitutes 35%, hydroxyproline 21%, proline 21%, alanine 11%. And this repeat, glycine, hydroxyproline and proline, this tripeptides repeats in collagen protein. You can see the 3D structure also. The green one is hydroxyproline, the pink one is glycine, and the gray white is proline. Okay, so this collagen protein having tripeptide repeats of XY, glycine, X proline, and Y is denotes hydroxyproline. This tripeptide repetition is so much important, because if it changes or it replaces with other amino acid, it causes various diseases. For example, osteogenesis imperfecta and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. These are the two diseases in which glycine amino acid of the tripeptide replaces with other bulky R group amino acids, and this leads to destruction of collagen strength and causes bones of the body very fragile in nature, and reduces the strength of the bones and causes various diseases. In kids also, this osteogenesis imperfecta, this disease belongs to kids. So the tripeptide arrangement of the collagen is so much important. The another important thing in collagen is the presence of uncommon amino acid, that is dehydrohydroxy lysine or leucine. This particular amino acids makes because of the cross linking in the three chains of collagen fibril. Okay, and the another amino acid hydroxyproline is also unusual type of amino acid present in collagen. So now you know how this collagen is important. It is having particularly alpha helical structure, in which three alpha chains, they are wrapped around each other tightly to form a supramolecular collagen fibril structure. It have a repeat glycine, hydroxyproline, proline tripeptide repeats, and it also have uncommon amino acid. The name is dehydrohydroxy lysine or leucine. So got it? The next example is silk fibroin. Silk fibroin protein is rich in glycine and alanine, and now it has a beta pleated type of structure, in which You can see in the picture whatever these orange color, it belongs to glycine amino acid, and purple color belongs to alanine amino acid. We already read it in previous lectures that glycine and alanine are simple amino acids, and it provides strength to different protein structures and flexibility also. So these silk fibrinoids are rich in glycine and alanine and having beta pleated type of structure. Next, the type of 3D structure of protein is globular protein. In globular proteins, we have spherical arrangement. The first globular protein structure was given by John Kendrew and his colleagues in 1950, and it belongs to myoglobin. We all know myoglobin is a muscle protein. It have two things in its structure. The one is heme group protoporphyrin. Heme group is also known as protoporphyrin. It is in the center, and it have a single polypeptide chain made up of 153 amino acids and having different structure in it. Single polypeptide chain means it is the tertiary structure of myoglobin. In this you can be much more clear with the things. The first, the A1 belongs to this ribbon type of structure, in which you are getting which type of secondary structure is present in the protein. Okay, the A ribbon type of structure or arrangement will give you the type of secondary structure present in the protein. The B1 is mesh. Mesh will give you the information about the protein surfaces. C, surface counter image. Surface counter image will give you the pockets or binding sites of the protein. And D, ribbon with side chain. Here you can see the blue color side chains are there. These side chains represent hydrophobic amino acid residues present in the protein. See here how many hydrophobic residues are there. The last one, the E diagram, is a space filling model. This space filling model is showing each spherical is representing an atom and the van der Waals radius. Blue color are representing hydrophobic residues. All are not there because they are buried inside. So this is showing the tertiary structure arrangement of myoglobin. These structures are taken from Leininger Principle of Biochemistry book. Then we can have a revision, like first we have a primary structure of polypeptide chain, single chain, and then it is folded into a conformation, maybe alpha helical or a beta pleated sheet. Then a single polypeptide chain, if it is arranging itself into a 3D manner, it may have alpha helical or beta pleated sheet or both. In that 3D structure is tertiary structure. And if you have more than one polypeptide chain, it will be a quaternary structure. Into a 3D arrangement, then it will be a quaternary structure. So that's all for today. But for quaternary structure, we are going to have another video tutorial in which I will explain example of hemoglobin and its quaternary structure and function inside the body. So wait for the same, and please like the video if you got the information whatever you are needed, and subscribe the channel, press the bell icon for further notifications, and thank you very much for now.